Hi guys, welcome to Kpop Talks. I'm your host Aladdin, and today I'm gonna talk about what were my favorite albums until this point in 2023, so January and February of 2023, obviously, and what were the highlights and what I liked about them. There's only one album here that's technically not from this year, but and I normally don't really review repackaged albums like that, but I felt like it deserved to be nominated because I felt like the songs that were added were good enough, and there was a good variety enough that actually made the album stand out in a different manner. That's at least for me. I'm not saying that for the others will be the same, but personally, I thought it was very interesting. So let's get right into it. Let's start with Ahn Ye Eun with Journey. Ahn Ye Eun is one of the most forward-thinking, interesting, experimental artists in Korea. She does a very interesting fusion of modern music and classic and traditional Korean style of music, specifically through her vocals. And she's always tried different things from EDM, rock, pop, ballad. She's always really, in the sense, was very polyedric when it comes to choices and different styles. And Journey is definitely more of a laid-back project from her. It's more focused on the feels and the melancholy and the tragedy that through her voice at least you can feel a lot. I recommend you to go and check the lyrics if you can. And on top of that, I think it's a very short project. It's not very long. It's like 8 to 10 songs if I'm not mistaken. But again, it's one, in my opinion, one of the standouts of the year. Incredible. It's 11 tracks. I mean, there's the instrumental, so it's technically only 10. It's one of the standout albums of the year, in my opinion. Incredible job by her. She's one of my favorite artists. Nobody knows Ahn Ye Eun at all. So definitely go and give her a listen because, in my opinion, already in 2020 she had one of the best EPs. Last year I think she had no music, if I remember correctly. As far as I remember, she had some songs here and there, but no full-length project. And she's back with Journey, which is an amazing album, and I think it shows her growth as an artist, in my opinion. If before her music could have been a little bit too much, maybe baroque in certain moments, she goes back a little bit and takes out a lot of stuff that's not needed to bring the best out of herself. That's something you have to give credit to artists to do that, in my opinion. Next we have Epik with Strayberry. Is this one of their best projects? No, in my opinion, but still, they are one of the few hip hop artists I think out there that really put effort in their concepts, in their sampling, the way their sampling connects through the project, their feature choices. They have a very specific style. They're a group, they've been around for more than 10 years, I think, or more than 20. So it's normal that at the more, I don't know more, but almost 20, I would assume, and I mean definitely 15 at this point. So I'm definitely curious to see where they're gonna go with it. Again, they're a good group. They're a solid group. They're the classic group that are never gonna drop an album that's below a 7 out of 10, even if you're not a fan of their style. So give them credit. Quality project, and one of the stand-ups hip hop albums of the year in general, even in the West, because the first couple months of hip hop in the world, let's say, has been kind of iffy in my opinion. And next we have Key with his repackaged album, which is killer. I put it here because I felt that while I love this first album and I love this one as well, this one feels a little bit more cohesive somehow. I think the songs they end up adding, which are not a lot, I'm not gonna claim it's like there's a million song differences between the original and the repackaged. But if you go listen to Gasoline, for example, it's an 11-track album. Killa has 14, and I feel like the 2-3 songs they end up adding in here really make the album flow a little bit better. And I also think, for example, Killa is a great single that was added to this list. I think adding the songs like Heartless, Killer, obviously, I think Bound and Easy were good additions. They're early in the project, and I think they make really the album, I think, flow better. But still, Kia has to be given props because I think when he started releasing music in 2020, nobody could have thought that this is the key we were gonna get. Maybe 2020, yeah, 2020, 2021 was the first time he dropped an album. So it's nice to see him at least. I know he dropped singles before and EPs before, but I'm talking this new style of Key, right? This grown-up Key that clearly is more focused as an artist. So if I'm here, it's 2021, yes. So I would say that. for me, it's when he really changed and become a real true grown-up artist in that sense. Next we have Purple Kiss with Cabin Fever. I must say I think Purple Kiss keeps being one of the most underrated K-pop groups in the world. Quality production, quality vocals, fun music. You always don't know what to expect going into the singles, going to B-sides. Again, you're not gonna listen to something revolutionary, but they stand out enough in my opinion through little details and nickels that make them really, really special and different. They deserve more success than they have in my opinion. And next we have Triple S with Assemble. This is their first full-length project and it's really good. I think there's no skips for me on this one. I enjoy almost everything they've done on it, and even when I think about personally about other projects I've heard this year, again, it's rare to hear a group, especially a girl group, not trying to be mainstream. You know, it's really cool to see in my opinion. It's obviously they're investing time into making good music, into making interesting concepts, into making them original and cool. So you have to give them credit in that sense. Their company, I'm not a fan of the whole concept with a behind NFT. To me, they should remove that immediately. It's no point in doing that. Just go. I still like the idea that it's based on sales, so if they see something really being supported, then they can put more money behind it. That's smart, because it's decided by the fans pretty much. You know, it's not just decided by, oh, I'm making this very popular single that I know masses are gonna love. You're making something that is very specific, hopefully, and in the hope that people are gonna end up loving it and enjoying it. So really, really good about Triple S. Next we have another SM artist, YESUNG, Essentially Flows. I didn't expect this at all. I mean, YESUNG before this was an okay artist, definitely one of the more talented bunch in Super Junior from a vocals perspective. But to see this evolution, sonically, instrumentally, conceptually, lyrically, you know, from a guy who's not 25, he's in his 30s, you know, and he still wants to do something new and original. I think that has to be commented. And I think this really makes him become a great artist in his own right. And I think kind of dismantles the whole bullshit that hype fans are trying to say that SM artists from a creative standpoint are not as good as I, which is obviously not true at all. They've always been the best in Korea, and I think they'll always be the best. Hopefully hype does not touch that part, because, you know, we don't know, at the end of the day, money rules the world, and if they think something makes them more money, even if it's worse, they'll do it. And last but not least, we have TXT with the name Chapter Temptation. They're back with their concept that make them great. Interesting production, psychedelic a little bit, weird concepts, weird experimentations from the production, vocally, the effects they put on the vocals. There's obviously, because they are BTS, juniors, and I think they got that from them, and they've done a little bit of twists with it, and of course it's great. It's 5 songs, it's not super long or anything, but it's still a standout this year. It came out really early, it came out like end of January. But David by the Window, Sugar Rush Ride, Happy Fool's Colorado has a good feature. Tinitos is very, very interesting, and Farewell Neverland is a little bit of more of a classic TXT song, but it ends up closing the EP in a very good way. I'm really, really proud of the guys, and I want them to keep this style. I don't want them to go back to the fucking love, loser, good boy gone bad, that type of shit. Remove it. I don't think that style really works for them. But it's also true, if I look at their streams, they're their most streamed song on Spotify. So money rules the world, as I said, and if hype wants to make money, they'll tell them to change. And this was it, I think, for the list of January, February. Not a lot of art albums. Maybe people expected something else. I can tell you, I thought Moonbeam and Sana's EP was underwhelming. I'll probably make a worst videos one about this as well, because Moonbeam and Sana album has been underwhelming. High Key was underwhelming. One with their Gravity album was very forgettable. Signature boring. Primrose boring. I Love You was okay. 8 Turn, not what I ended up expecting, in both good and bad, but it's not bad. TNX, there was EP to date, I think. Heartbeat was fine. I think this one came out this year. No, it came out last year, my bad. But I'll listen to it this year anyway. Minion had a decent first EP, I think. Honestly, Park Woo-jin had a decent EP as well. I'm not gonna act like I was surprised by him in any way. It was decent. Big Naughty's album, I thought, and I have to re-listen to it honestly, because it's short, it's 25 minutes, but it has a lot of depth from a production and artistical standpoint compared to your average K-pop albums. Then I want to give it another listen to be really sure. Maybe tomorrow in the afternoon while I'll be studying and reading some stuff, I'll give it a couple of spins, because I feel like there's something there that it's a little bit missing, where I feel like in his previous project that wasn't the case. But I should just listen to it and be sure 100%. And that was it really. There was nothing else this year I felt like really stood out in both, until this point, in a both or positive or negative manner. You know, we can end it here. Thank you for watching. Thank you for maybe liking or disliking this video, and we'll see each other maybe next week with other videos. And enjoy your night, evening, day, or whatever. Have a good day.